Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to dive into the world of home recording for bass guitar. Whether you just want to spontaneously capture an idea during rehearsal, or if you're capturing bass magic for your next platinum album, this video is going to be a game changer for you. Follow along. Exploring the realm of bass guitar recording opens up a world of benefits. Firstly, it offers unmatched flexibility, allowing you to dictate your own tempo and schedule. This freedom sparks creativity through experimentation with various techniques without the cost pressures of a recording studio. Secondly, it serves as a catalyst for your skill enhancement. Reviewing your practice sessions allows you to listen back to what you've been playing and helps you to pinpoint areas for improvement and keeps tabs on your progress over time. The biggest benefit of recording bass is it allows you for content creation. Whether you're creating tracks for jamming along to songs on YouTube or Spotify, or crafting original bass lines, or collaborating on song ideas with your bandmates, being able to record your bass at home amplifies your creative input. From the simplicity of placing your phone in front of your amp to advanced techniques like miking the amp or using the Line 6 Helix like I do, to make recording simpler and more powerful. Throughout each recording method, I'm going to discuss their advantages and disadvantages and share insights on how I incorporate them into my own home studio setup. Remember, while we're focusing on the bass, these techniques are also available for guitar as well. There is no sponsorship for any equipment I'm using in these videos. The equipment I'm going to be using is either stuff I own or I've had a direct experience with to ensure that these are unbiased insights. Let's check out the first one. The most simplest way to capture the sound of your bass is to stick your phone in front of the cabinet. Open the native voice app on your phone, in the iPhone's case that would be voice memos, and play away. It's not a good option for quality recording, but if you are rehearsing and want to remember the structure of the song or what you were playing in order to come back to it later, this is as simple as it gets. And is a replica of the old school tape recorder in the room. Am I showing my age there? The best location of your phone is not directly in front of the speaker, as that will tend to give you a distorted recording. So I generally place it about a meter away. If you want to capture the whole band in your rehearsal, then I find it more to the center of the room works to be able to capture the noise from everything. Your iPhone and probably your Android phone microphones tend to be 360, so anywhere in the middle of the room will capture any sound that's going on. So I have my phone about a meter away. Let's hear how it sounds. So turn the amp on. So you see, it has to be quite loud to get some sort of sound. So the pros with this option is it's simple and easy to do. Plug your bass in to your amp, stick your phone on record, away you go. It gets your ideas down as you think of them, and you can come back to it later. The cons is the recording quality is pretty poor. You need to be playing your amp at a relatively loud volume, and the room needs to be treated. If you're playing loud bass in your bedroom, your mum's probably going to come looking for you. For a more professional sound than just your phone, you can place a microphone in front of your cabinet and record the sound from your amp directly to your recording desk through the mic. The type of microphone you use and its placement can have a significant impact on the tone that is recorded, and in order for you to get something reasonable, you will need to play a fairly loud volume. Not as loud as for the iPhone, but reasonably. As the microphone is in the room, you also need to make sure that your room has some sound treatment, making this a better option for a recording studio where they can control that. In my room here, I'm using a vocal mic it's the vocal mic that I've been using. So again, pick any mic that you like. You can go and buy a specific mic, but this is the room mic that I had in the room at the time. This room also has no sound treatment, so this is what it will sound like through a cardioid mic directly into the room. I try to put the microphone around about a couple of inches back from the speaker, slightly off to the cone. Again, depending on the mic you have and the room treatment you have, you can adjust this how you like, but this is the way that I can get it simply. So let's just play a little bit of that. Recording direct to the desk is the best way to get a clean, usable bass signal with no outside noise. Most audio interfaces on the market today are designed to support a microphone and a guitar or bass directly connecting them for recording. As an example, the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, it's commonly seen on the internet. It has two XLR style inputs on the rear. On the front, there are two high Z guitar inputs which allow for direct connectivity of your bass through your 1/4 inch guitar lead. If you wanted to use the mic cab approach, one of these XLR interfaces on the back could support that. Another quality budget friendly option used by my friend Eric Arco, links to his sites up here, is a solid state logic SSL 2 or 2 Plus series. These include combination jacks allowing you to either use a microphone and an XLR mic cable, or for instrument connectivity using your 1/4 inch. So only 2 jacks, but they're combination. My audio interface is the Apogee Element 46. This is a 4 input combination jack, so I can plug either an XLR start microphone cable or a guitar 1/4 inch into the same port, and then configure it for how I've got it used. It also supports fan and power, so if I'm using condenser mics, I can power the mic from here as well. On the back, I've got an optical in, which allows me to connect other audio interfaces via an optical cable to expand the number of inputs on the device from 4 to whatever the other device has. It also has 2 headphone jacks, and again on the back it has the ability to put monitor speakers coming out. If multiple inputs and optical are important to you, as it is to me, then an alternative to the Apogee is the solid state logic SSL 12. It's used by the guitarist of my band, and as the Element series is no longer being produced by Apogee, if I was setting up my studio again today, I would like to go with that route. It has the 4 inputs and the optical, which I like for this unit. The pros of going direct to the desk: good quality recording of your bass. Recording is direct to your DAW, so there's no copying and pasting from your phone across to your computer. And this dry track or unaffected track allows you to do post-processing on your bass, either reamping or putting other effects on that dry signal. The cons: depending on the interface you use, there can be latency when you're recording with an amp plugin. So if you're using a device and say Helix native or Amplitude, where you're using it to provide the amp modeling for your playback, as you record, you may get some latency. Playback, of course, doesn't have the latency. It's only when you're recording and you're expecting the DAW to provide the amp modeling sound. So while we've covered directly connecting your bass to, or a 1/4 inch input directly into your audio interface, what happens if there is only an XLR microphone type input, or you can't get the gain low enough to stop distorting when you connect your bass directly? Traditionally, recording bass in the studio, engineers and producers will mic the cabinet, but they'll also take a direct feed from the bass, giving them both an amp tone, the wet signal, and a clean, unaffected dry track. The dry track is usually done by connecting your bass to a DI pedal or a DI box, which converts your guitar lead instrument signal into a balanced mic input and also allows you to split your bass signal into your amp that then can be recorded via a mic on a second track. This allows you to record 2 tracks of a single bass guitar, a wet one and a dry one. When I record direct, I use a Radial J48 active direct. They also make this in a passive, but I like to use the active one for less noise. My main reason for using this at home is because my Yamaha Attitude bass has Damasio relentless pickups on it, which are extremely hot, and I've not been able to get the gain low enough on my Apogee to be able to record a non-distorted sound. So the benefit of the Radial is that it has a minus 15 dB pad button. So I can reduce the input signal by 15 dB from my bass guitar into my direct. This also gives me the added advantage because I've got dual outputs on my Attitude. I can take 2 of these, a signal from each pickup of the bass into here, go straight to the desk for the clean signal, and then the through port goes into my Helix so that I can then record the wet signal. Alternatively, if you've got a bass or guitar interface such as the Helix or the HX Stomp, then you can use that as the output of your audio interface via the XLR outputs on that device. In other words, you can use your Helix or your HX Stomp as an alternative to a DI pedal. If you're using the HX Stomp, you will need a 1/4 inch to XLR adapter, but one of these comes with your Stomp, so that's all good. So let's check out the bass direct to the desk. I'm going to use the Helix as the USB interface to my DAW, which I'm using Reaper. And so this will be the same as if I'm going from a DI in or if I'm going direct into the Element. However, because I'm using this as the interface, I now get 3 signals. I get a stereo left and right affected or wet signal. So my mic'd up 8x10 SVT cabinet sound with effects and compression and everything else I need on it will be coming through channels 1 and 2. And the dry direct input signal from the bass will be coming through port 7. So I'm now going to record 2 tracks with 1 bass and get an affected and an unaffected track, allowing me to be able to reamp later if I want to move to a different amp sound or I want to put different effects on it, then I can use the dry track for that. Playback is 0 latency because I'm hearing what's coming out of the Helix. So let's see how that goes. Because the LT and the HX Stomp don't have an XLR input or a third input, I need to be able to have a second interface for the microphone. I use the digital connection between the Helix and my Apogee to be able to extend the Apogee's 4 ports into 6, where 2 of them are coming from the Helix. So my configuration, which I can do on another video if you like, is using the optical outs so that I control everything from the Apogee from a single audio interface, but I get the advantage of the wet signals coming from the Helix and the dry signals coming through the Apogee using its preamps, and any effects I want to use through that desk by the amp. So I get the best of both worlds, leveraging the HX and also the audio interface. The ability to be able to record a studio mic'd amp setup for my bass in the quiet of my own bedroom or home studio, in my opinion, makes using the Helix to record your bass at home the ultimate in home studio work. Leveraging Helix Native as an additional component to that, recording the wet signal with zero latency through the Helix and having the dry signal being able to be affected later through the use of Helix Native, I really do get full studio use in a home. If you're looking for a portable solution, then using a mobile adapter interface such as the IK Multimedia iRig or the Apogee Jam are a really good option. Using amp simulator software such as Amplitude or Positive Groove's Jam Up, you can record yourself directly to your phone with the sound of a bass amp and its effects while on the go. This small device can fit into your gig bag, and anywhere your phone is and your bass, you've got a recording studio. As an example, Amplitude iOS, which I use, includes bass amp models based on the Acoustic 360 bass preamp and the Ampeg SVT bass head. You have cabinets across a range of Ampeg cabinets, including the B15R, the 810E, which is an 8x10 cabinet, and the 410H. With in-app purchases around specifically the Ampeg pack, you get the full range of Ampeg amps and a wide range of cabinets. Amplitude iOS comes with a 2-track recorder that allow you to record your bass ideas, but with an in-app purchase, this can be expanded up to 8 tracks with master effects and a DAW style editing suite that could make this your entire recording world. I don't use the 8-track, but occasionally I do use the single track to capture bass ideas if I'm in a hotel room or on the road somewhere. Another advantage of this approach is that the software also allows you to load up a song and play along, changing pitch to match your voice or slowing down to learn that tricky bass part. So as a practice device, again, this small rig is perfect for practicing and recording. There are both paid and free versions available for iPhone or for the iPad, with the free version of Amplitude CS providing an SVT amp and an 8x10 or 1x15 cabinet with a single dynamic 57 or a condenser mic. The in-app purchase allows you to add a second mic, so multi-mic the cabinet, the virtual cabinet, and as I said, a wider range of amps and cabinets to choose from. The pros for this option is the recording studios wherever your phone or tablet are. There's a built-in tuner, so you're never out of tune. You don't need a separate device or app for the tuner. It's perfect for single instrument use and for capturing 1 to 8, depending on whether you paid for it, tracks of musical instruments. Amplitude software can also be used with GarageBand or Logic on the iPad, so purchasing of the app is also beneficial if you choose to use other recording software on your iPad. The cons for this is it's a single interface. This version takes one guitar input and that's it. So wanting to connect a vocal to this, I would need a separate adapter or a dual input adapter, and so the cost of changing adapters for multiple use can become cost prohibitive. Also, in-app purchases for additional amps or functionality also can become expensive. Let's plug this in and have a look at how the iRig works with Amplitude. So Amplitude amp on, using SVT with an 8x10, straight out of the box, no other effects, no other controls. I go into the recording mode and I should be able to now record some bass. Thanks for tuning in today. We covered a number of areas, from recording with an iPhone in front of your amp to using a mobile interface with your iPhone, miking the amp, and going direct to the desk. We covered a couple of DI options and my favorite, using a Helix as the ultimate way to record bass at home. Remember, the best method depends on your unique setup, the sound you're aiming for, the equipment that you have, and the purpose for your recording. Don't be afraid to experiment and find out what works best for you. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow musicians. Please check out some of our other bass related tips for recording, playing, equipment, etc. And also some of the covers where I'm giving you my interpretation as a bass player. Please drop comments in below and let me know of any feedback you have or if there's another recording method that you use instead. See you around.